Welcome back. We to preview Saturday afternoon's Premier League clash between QPR and Southampton. Pascal, we're hearing that it's going to be Tim Sherwood taking the managerial position at QPR. What's your reactions to Harry Redknapp news?
Well, I think it's bad that I think he's resigned at the wrong sort of time. Obviously, a lot of people saying if he knew this, he cited this knee stuff as the problem happening, he needed to have knee surgery and saying he wouldn't be able to carry on his job, as effectively as he wanted to. But if he did know about this surgery, sort of 2 months back, he probably should have gone then because you feel he's left Sherwood in the lurch a little bit. The transfer window just finished, when he left, and you have to wonder about that timing, don't you? Because they didn't really manage to sign many players. You look at Adebayor, he was the one they were linked with for a lot of that the last few days of that window. They couldn't get him in. I think that could have been a big signing for them. He sort of had his ups and downs at Spurs, but he still is a good Premier League striker. We know he's got the quality to do it at this level, and you wonder if Sherwood does come in like we think he will, is he going to be able to do much with this team? Because they're in the bottom three. It's a really tough job to take over because the squad harmony at QPR, in the last couple of years they've spent a lot of money, but you wonder if Sherwood. I think the thing he needs to address first, is the squad harmony, which Redknapp, never quite got right there.
You have to wonder, wouldn't it, if he would have signed Adebayor whether Redknapp would have stayed, wouldn't you? It's one of those where, QPR is a decent club. It's the potential to earn decent wages there. Is obviously Sherwood coming in, he'll have his problems with the set of players he's got there. The greatest will as well. People like Clint Hill, Henry, Zamora. They're not players that are really going to sort of direct. Obviously, they're good players, good Championship players. More than anything, Austin's obviously their main man, and he's got to be thinking. He was probably thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be joined by some quality in January." And when that didn't transpire, I think Les Ferdinand's been appointed director of football as well, and obviously Les Ferdinand and Tim Sherwood know each other from the Spurs days, which is obviously the obvious fit if it is going to be Sherwood, which we think it will be, and it seems like the obvious thing to do, isn't it? I think Sherwood will do well there. I think he's got he doesn't really take any prisoners, does he? I think QPR, they don't need someone to be really nice to them. They need to tell them how it is. And I'm not saying Redknapp didn't do that, but it's obviously important. I think he takes over a team with 1-7, not 1 in 2015, and the home form's obviously been good. I think they've only lost last time against United, but I think it was the only 1 in 8. I think they've lost at home. So a lot of things to think about, but it should be interesting.
Should be, but we'll go back to stuff on the pitch. Their last game, at Stoke City, that's 11 defeats out of 11 away from home now. Everyone knows how bad they are away from home. It is an incredibly bad run of form. Every week we say, maybe this will be the time they finally get even just a point, but, to lose every single game away from home. The Stoke one, I mentioned the team chemistry. There was a lot of players in that game that just didn't look like they really wanted to play for the team. Some bad mistakes. There were very avoidable goals, a lot of them. First one, Cole Henry, he turns, doesn't look the other way. He's only just outside his box.
Yeah.
Very poor from him. Gave the ball away for the second one as well, and then the third one, I think it was the left back Yoon Suk Young. The ball's bouncing, and he just sort of stood there, didn't do much. John Walters wanted it a lot more for his hat trick. Went in there with a big header, got his hat trick. And I think I think Harry Redknapp in that game, they got the goal back, didn't they? Cranshaw, to make it 2-1. They might have sort of come back into the game, but they never really looked like it. Away from home, they do look like a terrible team, and they'll be glad to be back at home in this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, obviously it's an important game. They'll be looking to bounce back. They're going to the Southampton team that also got their eye on bouncing back last time out against Swansea. Obviously, they're the type of games that Southampton, if they're going to finish top four, you have to win those games against the Swansea side that was out of form. And obviously, John Joe Shelby, the goal one, it was an absolute worldie. He's hit it, and it's sensational. He likes a shot from distance, doesn't he? And that one went in. And Southampton had a lot of play, a lot of the ball, a lot of chances, and it just never really went in for them. And I think we know Southampton are a good side now. We know that, but you have to drag yourself through games like that, don't you? The race for the top four is obviously so important. Obviously, United have gone above them now, and United play on Sunday, and obviously Arsenal and Tottenham, one of those is going to drop points. But if Arsenal win, they go above them because they're level on points. So, and Spurs can go above them as well, I think. So it's one of those where they could quite easily, they could blink and they could be out of the top four, and it's harder to get back in there. I think it is to stay there. So it's a vital game for Southampton. Obviously, QPR should be buoyed.
Definitely, I think Southampton, you still got to say they're doing fantastically where they are. But I think they did really well to get a lot of the business they wanted done in the summer. They didn't have to redo any business in January. They weren't panicking for anyone in January at all. They brought in Juricic from Benfica, who I think I've seen him play for his international team, and he's looked good in some Euro qualifiers. But I don't think he'll be sort of the key player for them. They've got a fairly set. When everyone's fit, he sort of knows what his best 11 is. But Southampton, they are doing well at the moment. You look at their fixtures coming up, and you think this game against QPR, one of the teams in the bottom three, they should probably win this one. And then they've got 3 of the next 4 at home against West Ham. Obviously, Liverpool's a tough one. That'll be a big game in the rest of the top 4 because Liverpool, they're looking a lot better at the moment. Obviously, with Sturridge coming back as well. So I think Liverpool, they'll be a top 4 candidate. And you mentioned Arsenal and Spurs. I think the race for sort of 3rd and 4th, because United are only 1 point above Southampton. 3rd and 4th will be a really interesting race, I think. And then they host Crystal Palace and go to West Brom after that. So I think very winnable sort of 5 games coming up for the Saints now. And there's no reason at the moment to sort of say, they're going to definitely drop out of the top four. I think they've still got a really good chance.
Yeah, so their home form is obviously important. I think away from home, they've lost four times. Most of their defeats have come away from home, so that'd be difficult. But they made the Bertrand, didn't they? They brought him on as well, where they obviously had him alone, made that permanent as well. I think that's a good sign, isn't it? He's had a very good season, but obviously it's a tough game. Both sides needed the points, but obviously for very different reasons. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, I think it will be an exciting game. Obviously, with Redknapp now gone, if Sherwood, as we think he will be, if he's there by the time Saturday comes around, I think there'll be Boyd at Loftus Road. Obviously, it'll be a good atmosphere there. So I'm expecting goals, good game. I think I'm going to say for a draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. I'm actually going to back QPR. I think under normal circumstances, I probably would have gone a draw as well. But I think with Redknapp going out, I think the players would be keen to prove a point, weren't they, to themselves and to the supporters, obviously, as well. So I'm going to back QPR to win 2-1. So you've got QPR win and score draw. Thanks for joining us.